Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Buckets. In case you were wondering, yes, this shirt is ironic. In today's video, I want to talk about Quinton Grimes and the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, a large majority of the focus on the Dallas Mavericks recently has been on the absolute disaster that was the Luka Doncic trade, and I can't see any world where that would not be the primary focus. But do not let that distract you from the fact that they also had probably the second worst deal for any team of the trade deadline when they sent Quinton Grimes to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Caleb Martin. And the Mavericks are so ill-equipped right now that there is a chance that they might literally be forfeiting games. Meanwhile, Quinton Grimes, who was having a good season for the Dallas Mavericks, they traded him because they didn't really want to pay the guy this offseason, which is semi-understandable. However, since being on the Sixers, he has proven that what the Mavericks would have had to pay for him would have been a massive bargain. As of right now, as a Philadelphia 76er, Quinton Grimes is averaging 21.5 points per game. He's shooting 51% from the field overall, 39% from three, 61% on two-pointers. Weirdly enough, he's at 71% from the free throw line, but excellent shooting on high volume. His two-point percentage is really high as a guard, which is nice to see. He's even getting his assist averages up at 3.8, which is easily a career high. So he's been given more opportunity than he really has at any point in his career. And as someone who's been a big Quinton Grimes guy for a very long time, I'm very excited to see it. And I frankly didn't expect him to have this kind of ceiling. Now, the natural thing that you do when somebody puts up 20 points per game on a pretty damn bad NBA team, the Philadelphia 76ers, who are often down Maxey, always down Embiid, and often down Paul George, in this game against the Houston Rockets, where he just last night scored 46 damn points on 15 of 27 shooting and 8 of 14 from outside. That game went into overtime and they ended up losing to the Rockets, but there was no Maxey, George, or Embiid. Quinton was just so hot that he was able to keep them in this one. Also, shout out to Jared Butler, who scored 21 points. So, obviously, bad team, more opportunity, lots of shots available. I get that. But the fact that he has been hitting them makes me not want to pick up that, empty stats or just simply a hot start moniker. Don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think he'll maintain at least the efficiency that he's been on recently, but the level of efficiency in which he has played with after taking on a role that he has never experienced in the NBA, I think this is a very, very, very encouraging sign. 7 threes a game at 39% makes him one of the best shooters in the entire NBA at that volume. And if we're just going field goal percentage by distance, he's also 60% on shots from 10 to 16 feet, which are about 8% of his shots. 40% on 10 to 16 foot mid-range shots, which are also about 8% of his shots as a Sixer. And then he is shooting 45% on floater range shots, which is a very important shot for any guard who's trying to score at a high volume, also shooting a career high at the rim. So just across the board, dude's been great. And if we look at his assisted percentage, he has his lowest percentage of his threes assisted in his career. In that Houston Rockets game, he actually hit a good handful of pull-up threes. I think 3 or 4 of them in that game were threes off of the dribble, just shooting it right in his man's face. He has 36% of his twos assisted, which is half of what his career average has been to this point. And then he's having just 73% of his threes, with his career average being 93%. So he's taken on more pull-up threes. He's taken on more shots in general, and he's doing more self-creation than he has at any other point in his career. As for some of his inside-the-arc scoring, as I mentioned, his mid-range percentage has been pretty good, and as a whole, it averages to about 1 out of every 5 shots that he takes. This game, he was netting all of them. One of them, he got a crazy bounce in. So the mid-range shot looks good. The three-point shot looks good. The floater range shot looks good. As of now, his finishing at the basket has been good. He also has the highest volume of his shots at the rim, also on the Philadelphia 76ers. So dude's breaking out as a scorer for real, and in a way that is very portable to any situation, and in a way that would have just been perfect paired next to Luka Doncic if given more opportunity. Now, for Dallas this year, obviously, he wasn't averaging 20 points per game, but he was averaging 10 in 23 minutes, and he was shooting 40% from three on 4 attempts per game. So there was plenty of evidence that he could handle more opportunity, handle more minutes. In fact, I'm going to go look. What are his numbers when he has started for the Mavericks? 15 here, 10 here, 14 here, 21, 24, 28, 4, which is not good, 11. Yeah, so in the 12 games that Quinton Grimes has started for the Dallas Mavericks, he has averaged 14.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. And his overall shooting splits are 48% from the field, 40% from three on 6 attempts per game, with a 63% true shooting percentage. So excellent, just across the board. The numbers are great. I'm actually even curious just what his on-off numbers look like. If they even have a net neutral net rating with him on the floor, that would be remarkably impressive. As of right now, his team is 8 points better on offense with him on the floor, and their opponent... Wait, sorry. I looked at that entirely wrong. Okay, huge L from my narrative here. The opponent offensive rating is 8 points better with him on the floor. Meanwhile, his offensive rating for his team only goes up 2 points with him there. So it would still suggest that he has been a net negative, but I think you would be hard-pressed to find a Philadelphia 76er in this recent stretch who is not a net negative. So Quinton Grimes, dude, just excellent. Obviously not something that I could make a main channel video about, but our Rusty Buckets video about. There's technically no main channel anymore, but I keep slipping up with the old verbiage. But Quinton Grimes is a player who I've liked for a long time, someone who he reminds me of a lot. Ironically, he did just have his best game in Houston, but Allen Houston, who was a all-star in the NBA, I think 2 or 3 times. Yeah, 2 times in 2000 and 2001. Just a three-point shoot and mid-range guy. Obviously, much higher volume from Quinton Grimes than you would get from Allen Houston, but at the end of the day, that's just the difference in eras, and I think the play style is otherwise similar. I think the jump shot is vaguely similar. Quinton Grimes has he has a jump shot, like one of those jump shots that's like, wow, that's very wound up and tight, and it looks like you're shooting like a cannon, but at the same time, it also looks very consistent and mechanical, and like it's something that you can rely on repeating, which is at the end of the day what matters on a jump shot. So yeah, Quinton Grimes, awesome. Dallas Mavericks, how do you guys keep taking L's? It's actually impressive how often this happens. I'm so sorry if you still proclaim yourself to be a Mavericks fan, or if you are a recovering former Mavericks fan. One way or the other, the L's just keep piling up.